Twitch actually accept that? I don't think it will. It'll probably spit it out. Okay, it's not updating the game, so that's good. Baller. And whenever Marcus gets back, we'll kick this in to high gear. Lots of nothing happening. So that's moving out. Oh, and then our F-15 friends made it. His friends having a little trouble keeping up. She's getting a little bouncy. It's our little radar site. Pretty nifty. But it's good to see that the E2C is now enjoying this flight path a little bit more. Alright, so just a little bit where he does it, I guess, standard. Alright, got a little shaky there. Interesting. That's where we got spiked by.
All right.
Okay, the tech view is up if you want to hop into
Well,
that.
I mean, I've been scrubbing through it.
Okay.
But I can connect.
Yep, I've got the online one going.
Right. Connected.
Alright. So, here, this is about half an hour into the whole thing. We are airborne as of about 8 minutes ago. Working our way in.
Raj.
So that turn was Adder, and we passed that. And then I think it was about here is where we might have started to get visual. If
I remember you wanted to make a left turn, not to directly overfly.
yeah, so let me find that scrub. There we go. So that was that turn, and once we started to get visual, I think it was probably about here.
When you started getting visual.
Yep, so I'll just let this play and kind of walk through it. Like, was there just an issue with your targeting pod and you just weren't able to find it?
After I got on target, I tried to slew my Maverick over to the point, realized I hadn't set a SPI, or SPI, for the Maverick to slew to, so I went back to the targeting pod to try and set that, and I don't know, something at that point got set wrong. I mashed some wrong weird button combination, and the targeting pod stopped responding. I couldn't get it to slew back. It slewed somewhere, and I couldn't get it back to my center line, and I couldn't direct it. I couldn't find it. There was no diamond on my HUD. You know, I was looking at the thing out my window. It looked like it was pointed straight forward, but I wasn't able to see anything on the HUD. And when I nosed down to actually try and take a look at the ground, I couldn't see anything.
Okay. Are there any indications that you remember seeing on the targeting pod?
Oh, there are probably all sorts of letters and things up there. I don't know what they were, what they mean.
Okay. So it just wasn't straight up wasn't responding to you at all?
I didn't appear to be. No.
Okay. Strange. Strange things. I think I was laser spotting somewhere around here.
Yeah, that never worked.
Yeah, it's probably about here. Okay. The the game itself, well, I don't know if the server saved it for you as a client. Not sure. But that's definitely something to consider for next time.
What is?
Just the fact that it was getting stuck. Like, that's real fucking weird.
I'm just sure it was just I put it in some sort of mode or something that I couldn't tell. The most frustrating thing I've run into is I can't tell when I set a speed or something because there's no indicators.
Yeah, it's not great about telling you when you do that.
Also, you go really fast, by the way.
Oh, do I?
Yes.
Hmm.
For somebody who has no fucking idea what they're doing, it's pretty damn fast.
Okay. So my thought process and my workflow is fast.
You know what you're doing better than I do.
Okay. Have you read through any of the manual at any point?
No. No.
I highly recommend it. Because even if it doesn't make sense right off of the pages, it'll at least, you can start to connect things. Because then you'll see you do something in the jet and then you see, or you remember, oh hey, I did that, or I read about that in the manual, and so this is what the result should be. Just gets you aware of what happens if everything is flowing properly. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. The Mavericks are a little tricky, and that's an unfortunate fact of life. They're not the easiest to use, but
It's not about the Mavericks. It's about the stupid key combos and kicking it over into weird ass mode that I have no idea.
yeah.
You know, no fucking audible or visual indicators about what's going on.
Yeah, yes, unfortunately those are, like the audible and visual cues are especially saved for really important stuff, and so you don't always get stuff that's useful for quality of life operating it. So we'll keep working it. We'll figure out what happened. If it comes up again, we'll walk through it real time. If worse comes to worse, you may just need to turn your targeting pod off and on again, or just set it to standby and back to air to ground. Find the target again, and then work from there. Because stuff is going to be screwy at times, and the best you can do is try to stay calm, and if you need to, just take some deep breaths and hold it on autopilot, fly away from the target for a minute, let your mind recover. and that's kind of what we're doing here, which is about the right thing to do. It's not always going to make sense. And I think having aircrew experience does make it easier for me, and unfortunately, it lets me leave people in the dust. I'm not a great instructor, but I can try to problem solve alongside you. So,
Yeah, it's just need to take a break right now.
yeah, that's completely valid. So, we'll just keep working through it. Try it again some other time.
Mm.
So, it's definitely doable. You can do this mission with one aircraft and one payload.
Roger. I just
Yeah. We'll let you cool down a little bit and we'll run it again maybe tomorrow if you'd like. Or we can just
yeah,
run
that's
through
fine.
more.
Just
We can also
I
just do another training sortie out by Batumi again and try to figure out what the issue was. If you can,
I
any way recreate
just
it.
need to mess with it to make sure I'm pressing the right things and investigate what it takes to get it back to a normal motor operation when it's not.
Okay. We can do that, independently, or we can do it together.
Just I don't want to keep you from playing when you want to play. So,
Well, I don't want to leave you behind because you're my
well,
wingman, and, if you can't fly right and operate it properly, then we need to figure it out so that you can, and so that we can get the mission done. So, this was a relatively big sortie. It didn't seem like there was a lot going on, but there was relative to what we're used to. So, a lot of new stuff, like we have new airplanes in the area. We have several targets in a hard-to-find location. Made it a little bit easier with the waypoint, but, there's still things to work around to try and get that resolved.
yeah, we need to find a better way of communicating because that northeast thing doesn't work well.
Okay, so what are you thinking you need to find stuff on the targeting pod?
I really don't know because
Okay.
either I find it or I don't. I mean, and if I'm not finding it, I'm just scanning around, looking randomly to look for it.
Okay. Uh, you know where the coordinates on your targeting pod are found, at least?
Yeah, the northeastings, yes,
Okay.
but those don't correlate with up, down, left, right. Because up, down might move east, or it might move north, or it might move both of them,
Hmm.
depending on where we are in orbit around the damn target.
Yep. And that's a lot of situational awareness stuff that I can't teach. You just, it's instinct, really. You just have to kind of figure it out. And in that situation, I would just recommend, slewing it around to see how it moves, and then,
Well,
try
then
to
there's doing
aim
that
based
while
off of
trying to
that.
remember this huge ass string of numbers. But,
Yeah. Yeah, piloting takes a lot of brain power, and even more so for piloting a fighter or attack aircraft. So it does get overwhelming. Not everybody's cut out for it, but you just power through it. work the best you can.
Right. I'm gonna do some stuff to relax.
That's cool. Yep, and we'll keep working this, and we'll figure it out. We'll get back on target, and we'll kick these guys' asses next time.
You got the radar. What? You know.
Yeah, and that was, what our original target was for. And that was with the laser-guided munition, which we had only figured out maybe 2 days ago.
Mm.
Or yesterday, I think.
Yeah, I really don't think that they'd be sending people up for sorties with only a week in the seat.
Yeah. Yep, so tomorrow we can either work on targeting pod things, trying to figure out what went wrong and what we can do to fix it, or we can work on simpler stuff like navigation and landing without
Yeah,
references.
I think we need to work on what what went wrong, how to fix it, and also how to direct somebody else onto target.
Okay, I think we can do
Because
that.
either I just need to practice a hell of a lot more with the Northeast thing,
Hmm.
or there's got to be a better way of doing it.
Okay. So what I will do is I will give us a bunch of fuel tanks and a lightning pod, and then we can aim, and that will be all we do. I will set up some, like, neutral targets, I guess. They won't be attacking anybody, and we won't be attacking them. We'll just be aiming our lightning pods and
Yeah.
figuring out how to communicate where they are.
Yeah, that would work a lot better.
Okay.
Because if the laser search is just not going to work, then trying to use the northeastern thing either needs practice or there needs to be another way.
Yep. I will say, though, this is a good, pretty solid formation takeoff. And you are extremely good with the gun from what I've seen so far. So all we
I
gotta
can hit
iron
things
out.
with a gun.
Yep. So all we gotta iron out now is just, targeting and other munitions. And that is, a good thing to do, because you fly pretty swell, pretty safe. Words.
Yeah.
So now it's just a little more complicated stuff. And that is something we can certainly do.
Just practice on most of the stuff. They don't normally send people into actual combat zones for months of training, right?
No, no. It takes a very long time, especially for fighter pilots. It's like 2 years of training, and then you finally get your wings. And
Right.
then you go to the actual, you know, airframe training, and that's where you start to learn how to fly A-10s and how to utilize them. And that's just 2 years in.
So, I think we're doing pretty good for a weekend.
Oh, certainly so.
Yeah.
Got places to improve and stuff to keep learning on, but for where we are, we're doing alright.
How far out was the bullseye from the runway?
Bullseye
About 90 miles.
was... Yeah, it was about 90 miles. Yeah, and it had like a 30-mile range, was that radar? So this is about where we started getting spiked.
Mm-hmm. And we're not going to pick up visual until about 15 miles out.
Mm-hmm. If we're lucky, yeah.
Yeah, and the clouds get in the damn way.
Yeah. Yep, there's a lot going on and a lot that we had to fight around that we haven't really dealt with before. But it is certainly possible. Oh, jeez. Gone. Yeah, this is certainly possible with just one aircraft's worth of munitions.
Right. Because you can Maverick and dumb bomb just about everything down there.
Yep.
Yeah. You can see me burbling trying to figure out where the hell my targeting pod's pointed.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I'm looking out the window seeing that it's pointed dead forward, but I can't see anything out of it.
Yeah, like I kind of wish that this telemetry would actually track where you're aiming with the targeting pod.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Might be asking a bit much for the time being.
What I really want is the ability to zoom out more with the targeting pod and get a wider field of view.
Okay, so we can go over that a little bit.
Well, I know how to zoom the damn thing in and out.
Okay, but yeah, there's different modes, different field of view modes. Like you've got the wide field of view, which has the little brackets around the outside of the crosshairs.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got the narrow field of view, which has no brackets, it's just the crosshairs.
Right.
And that's, how you zoom in and out.
Well, you can also use...
Yep.
Hold on.
You can use the DMS, which is the DMS
Yeah,
button.
it's
But
DMS forward and back, zoom in and out as well.
Yep. But
and I was using that.
Yeah, the field of view changer is also incredibly useful. But then these are still relatively small targets in a relatively cloudy day.
Right.
So
Does this telemetry show the waypoints?
it does not. Because it only shows the aircraft where they're flying.
Raj.
And what they've been shooting.
Well, I'm seeing, sorry I ruined your flight this evening.
Nah, it's alright. Shit like this happens. So there's a lot that we had to do to even get in the air, so you did pretty well keeping up with that. And then it was just the targeting pod was, I guess, the last straw.
The stress of trying to fuck around with the targeting pod while trying to do everything else at the speed you were doing it at was just not working.
Yeah. I am unfortunately relatively high speed.
No, I get it.
So can't always slow down. But there are ways around that, and practice is one of them. So all we got to do is just keep trying it, and we'll get it figured out.
Alright, I think I'm gonna just chill and hang out for a bit.
Okay. Whenever those folks upstairs get done with ops, I will probably get Clone and Zerko in on this to try and figure
Roger, it looks like they're doing their post thing now because they've collapsed to one squad.
Oh, yep. And it's 15 minutes after, so.
Raj, if they get down here and get interested, I'll fly and fuck around while they're
I don't think I'm
Okay.
gonna do much more flying tonight because I already tested this mission earlier today,
Right.
and then we already did this, so I think I'm done with my flying for today. I will just get them warmed up and familiarized with kind of what we're doing.
Right.
The general mindset and mission set. And that's the end of the stream.